Authentic and part of Vermont's heritage. They literally do it all, from growing their own corn, raising the cows, feeding and milking them, then processing and distributing the milk. You can find their great local products in many area stores if you live locally. Please stop by their popular dairy store Monday through Fridays. Monument Farms, landmark quality from the heart of Vermont in Weybridge.
Do something really low?
I've got something I'm getting audio now.
Okay, but it's really low. Okay.
Well,
Let me talk a little bit. That'll come through better than theirs. And then you can see whether or not it's coming through for me. Because I'm the most important part anyway, probably for you. And here we are, testing out for Kurt.
They provide high-quality products to homes and businesses no matter how small or big they are. Whether it's heating oil or propane, you'll get automatic delivery. Now is the time to get a quote on a pre-buy, too. Call the company that delivers what you need. All-Star Fuels in Bristol and Hardin Meat in Heinsberg. Call 453-3101. That's
Can you hear me now?
3101.
Like the famous
John Wells,
Sprint advertisement.
gemologist and owner of Autumn Gold in Middlebury, Vermont. Who stopped in and melt someone's heart. Whether you're looking for fine handcrafted jewelry, a rare gem,
Like hired the guy away to go work for the other one.
have to offer.
Yes.
Meet our
Why haven't radio stations tried to do that with you? Like, why aren't they calling up being like, hey,
And remember, we do expert in-house repairs, restorations,
Not
and
doing it with me.
appraisals as well. Autumn Gold, the Earth's most beautiful gifts.
Now back to Tiger football on 92.1 WBTK.
the lights are on at Doc Collins Field. Otter Valley's out on the field getting ready for the kickoff. The sun has gone down in the west, leaving the sky a lovely color on a beautiful, beautiful Saturday evening. Unusual for Middlebury at Doc Collins Field to be a Saturday. This is a byproduct of the state moving to Phase 3 starting today, so we're able to start off competition. One of the typical stories throughout the year is the way the seasons change, but it being already now 3 or 4 weeks into the normal regular season, it's already getting dark early, but it's a warm night. Typically in the first week we'll see cramping, things like that. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of that tonight, although without the hitting, it may be a little less physical on these guys, and you may not get that. And we're going to take a moment. We're going to hear the starters for the Middlebury Tigers. I think for right now, what we could probably do is focus on the offenses on both sides. So Bruce is going to give you the bigs first. The bigs are going to be starting out the first quarter and the third, and then he'll give you the littles, which will be the second and fourth after that.
All right, thanks, Bjorky. As you mentioned, for the bigs, starting at split end on the left side, number 82, sophomore Willem Berry. At center, number 15, sophomore Charlie Stone. And on the right side, split end, number 50, junior Sam Warren. On the left slot, number 86, senior Gabe Cotel. On the right side, the right slot, number 75, sophomore Dalton Rayon. The quarterback, number 13, junior Ryan Thomas Daniel. And the fullback on the right side, number 71, senior Colin Bradford. So the Middlebury offense, the bigs. Now we'll take a look at the littles. Starting on the left side split end, number 8, junior Jordan Martin. At center, number 15, sophomore Charlie Stone. And on the right side, number 81, senior Bodie Rubright. The left slot back, number 24, senior Gabe Dunn. The right side, the right slot back, number 4, junior Nikolai Lush. The quarterback, number 11, senior Zach Bean. And the fullback, number 43, senior Mason Kaufman.
And, of course, the Tigers are coached by Dennis Smith, assisted by Jed Malcolm and John Newseeder. We do not have the starters for Otter Valley. I can assume, to be honest with you, Bruce, Otter Valley doesn't have that many players. I expect we will be seeing most of those players pretty quickly in the game today and calling lots of names and numbers. So we will get you acquainted with the Otter Valley's Otters as we go forward. And if any of you noticed the way that our friend Bruce said Rayon during that, we could remind you that he is the radio voice of the Middlebury men's Panther hockey team. So nice hockey pronunciation there. All right, so Bruce, certainly an interesting night. When we look out in the stands, we see that there's a certain number of spectators. Currently the capacity is 150. They actually had to do a bit of a raffle this week to give out tickets. So it's a different kind of thing. But how do you think people should go into tonight? The team, the fans, the announcers. I mean, this is the first time you and I have ever done this. What do you think the approach could be on any number of levels?
Well, as you mentioned, I think it's just a good thing for the players that the games are actually taking place. There was an awful lot of work, especially, and we've got to thank Sean Farrell from Middlebury for making this actually possible. This is, if you're not familiar with the media, this is a lot of work to put these games on. And we have been going back and forth for literally weeks just to make sure that these games actually were able to take place. And again, we had some things even earlier this week where we were not sure that this game was going to be played. So how do I think they're going in? I think, first of all, I'm just grateful to be here.
Yep.
It's nice that things are slowly, albeit slower than I would like, getting back to normal. And again, the most important thing for me is that these kids are going to be able to play this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've heard a lot of talk from kids, about just positive things. I went down to practice the other night and watched them do their things, and there was a lot of joking around. In fact, I mean, I would say compared to your average football practice, it was significantly more lighthearted. And I mean that in a good way either way, right? Football practice are rugged things. And it felt a little more light than that, but once I saw the coaches getting them into, putting them through their reps, having them do route trees, having them figure different things out, you could see it was the same kind of feel. Once they got going, the kids really buckled down. And I just have to say, and I'm just going to give it a side here as a teacher in the school, just what a great job the high school kids have been doing with the safety protocols. And I really would love, and just as a teacher, forget being an announcer for a second, people at home, I really hope you know that. Like kids, I have not in 3 weeks had a single argument with a kid about wearing a mask. I have not had a single time where I've had to really remind someone. Kids have been respectful. I mean, to be honest, they're respectful just across the board. I think they're so happy to be at school. It has been, it's weird and it's been tough, but the kids are absolutely doing a fantastic job. And as we say that, the Middlebury Tigers come running out on the field wearing their black uniforms that were originally homecoming uniforms years ago, and then they talked the coaches into wearing them all the time. Black helmets, orange stripes, white letters on the top, black tops, black bottoms, and orange piping. And Bruce, they're looking pretty good out there.
Yeah, they are looking pretty good, and it's just nice to see them out there on the field. It has been a long way to get here, and again, I'm happy for both teams. I mean, Otter Valley as well, they were also affected by this, and after finishing last year an impressive 9-1, it's just nice to see them on the field this year so they can get to play these games.
It is, and we're going to have a chance to see some unusual things this year because one of the things they did, because they weren't worried about size, right? Very often if you have a really large school, you have a lot of really large kids, and then you take on a Division III school and you've got offensive linemen plowing over much smaller people, things like that. Well, they looked at this year and they said, okay, those things don't matter as much. Those size differentials don't matter as much, and a lot of kids are going to be doing things they're not that used to anyway. Let's just wing it and have you play your local people. You save time, you save money, you save distance, everything else. So Middlebury's got an interesting schedule. They're going to start out against Otter Valley. They're going to play Fairhaven, and that's a team we see every once in a while them play, and Fairhaven's always a fun matchup. Then it's going to be Mill River, the Minutemen. Then Pulteney, I think they're the Blue Devils, but I need to remind myself. I need to dig into the memory banks there. And then, of course, you've got a home game against Rutland. Do have some Otter Valley, Burton, which will be a fun one. And then Rutland and Hartford. So to the scheduler's credit, they did give Middlebury the kind of main rivals, I would say. In my time of my 10 years, Hartford and Rutland really have been the rivals. But cool, we'll see some other teams that we are completely not used to seeing, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, it will be fun. And again, seeing schools that are in different divisions and the playing field kind of leveled in terms of the sizes with the rule changes should be very interesting, especially, I have to tell you, on my calendar, the game that I'm looking forward to is that game against Burton, because Burton typically does go to the air.
Yeah, no, they'll feel quite comfortable with this idea, although it may cause them to may lower even the playing field in some ways, because when you play Burton, especially in recent years, it's such a different game than it often is. So a lot there. You know, I'm not even sure how we're doing the start of this game. Normally we would pull aside here for a moment, but we'll just keep talking about it for a second. So late September. Football on the field. No playoffs this year. That's one thing people should know. But a chance for students to get going, and other sports have gotten going as well. The soccer teams are going to kick off this week, certainly. Cross country, which is the one group that gets to not wear a mask, and of course, here we are doing high school to college, though nothing going on there. Hopefully this winter we'll have a chance to do things.
Well, you mentioned that, and again, as of today, still really no word on what is going to take place for the hockey season. I mean, that typically starts in, I believe, the last week in November, and I believe a lot of the colleges have canceled their fall sports seasons, but it's a question of whether that falls into fall and or winter. Right now, my thought would be to maybe start things in January, but again, everything up in the air. But those students want to play too.
Sure. So I'm going to take a moment here, a second, just to Sean Farrell, the athletic director here, activities director, I should say, here at Middlebury High School, did ask me to tell the fans a little bit about the spectator procedures. The spectators have to be capped at 150, so that may explain why some of you are at home listening over the radio or watching on Middlebury Community Television, as opposed to being in the stands itself. So we limited gate attendance to 2 spectators per athlete and coach on the roster. The remaining tickets, if there are any, will be given to MUHS students. Visiting teams must only request tickets that they know will be used. The coaches' tickets are meant for spouses or children and are not used by boosters or friends of the staff. Anyone attending the game will be required to have their ticket with them when they arrive. We will not allow anyone to the facility who does not have a ticket, the rules say. Entry for spectators begin 30 minutes before the posted start time of each game. Fans must not attend the games if any of the following are true. And I just want to point out these are the same rules for going to school. In the past 14 days, if you've been in close contact with someone diagnosed with COVID-19, you may not come to the game. If you've traveled to a location not eligible for quarantine free travel. If you feel unwell with any of the symptoms consistent with COVID-19, or if you have a body temperature of 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. All spectators, including members of the media, must wear facial coverings and practice physical distancing. Parents who bring kids to the games are asked to keep them with them, younger kids. And when you are on the stands, maintain 6 feet of distance between yourself and members of different households. Spectators who leave the game will not be readmitted. And no entry fees. So you can save some money, Bruce. No entry fees will be charged for any MUHS athletic events. And unfortunately, but this makes sense, I think, there will not be concessions during any of these games. So, Bruce, I have to say, pretty common sense, not to be too editorial, but pretty common sense rules there from the VPA.
Yeah, common sense rules, and these could also change. It depends on what's happening with the state. We saw this week things could change from day to day, so we'll keep you updated on those through the game.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, keeping you up to date with the rules. And the rules changes along the way. Right now, Eddie Hardy of the Middlebury Athletic Community Council is now giving a statement to the crowd about good sportsmanship and about facial coverings.
Please join us in embracing the values of good sportsmanship.
Reminding everyone to embrace the values of good sportsmanship. So an interesting game for sure. 7-on-7, lots of passing, lots of catching, probably some drop balls here or there. But good game and a fun game, and Bruce will do it here on the other side. We will step aside for a moment, and when we come back, it'll be kickoff for a whole new season. Middlebury Tiger Football, 92.1 WVTK.
Over 60 years in business. LaBerge equals insurance. LaBerge Insurance Agency's been helping you find the right insurance. Don't pay too much for the wrong coverage. LaBerge Insurance will get it right. Homeowners, renters, condo, auto, life, commercial, farm, or Medicare supplement insurance. Call LaBerge at 388-2772. LaBerge Insurance Agency, locally owned and conveniently located at 1 Washington Street, Middlebury. LaBerge equals insurance.
Mini is a different kind of car for a different kind of drive. For the drive to create a new kind of family car. One with go-kart handling and room for everyone. The all-4 all-wheel drive that takes you everywhere. For the drive to create and innovate. For the drive that's inside you and inside us. That's the drive under the hood of every Mini. Because every Mini is for the drive. Test drive a Mini today at Mini of Burlington, Champlain Drive, Shelburne, and at miniofburlington.com to schedule your test drive.
Real trust is having a partner you can count on.
National Bank of Middlebury has experienced bankers providing advice, guidance, and support you can trust, and a full range of loans, savings, and online products and services. Find out what having the right partner can do for you. Offices in Middlebury, Brandon, Bristol, Hinesburg, and Virginia, or online at mbmbt.com.
The Otter Valley Otters practice and travel as a team and would like to be introduced as a team. So Middlebury High School players and fans, would you please welcome the Otter Valley.
WBTK, Fort Henry, Bridgeport, Middlebury, 92.1.
The Otters tonight are coached by Dennis.
High school football is on.
Now for the starting
92.1.
defense big,
WBTK.
they're calling this, as we've got two defense.
And we're getting ready to get started here on 92.1 WBTK with the first week getting ready to go with the Middlebury Tigers taking on the Otters of Otter Valley. And they're finishing a few of they kind of split the announcement of the introductions, Bruce. They did one set before the anthem and one set behind, so it will be a couple moments here before we get the football game started. But 7-on-7, strategically, what do you think? It's a little hard for us to know. We haven't done one of these games, but if you're the coaches, how do you go into this game? What do you try to do?
Well, I think what you do is you try to test the opponent's defense quickly. I mean, we've never seen anything like this before. So both teams are really with the same situation. They're not really sure what to expect. But I think what I would do is I would try to test the defenses quickly and see if you can get on the board as soon as possible.
Yeah, I think one of the elements there is purely is just experimentation. You know, you just give it a whirl. Everyone's learning on the fly. I mean, every single person in the place is learning on the fly. And so in a good way, just go out there, let it wing it out. You don't know if it's a high-scoring game or low-scoring game. You literally don't know how it's going to go. I think there's something pretty exciting in that. Just like throw it out there and play some 7-on-7.
Because the point values haven't changed. It's still 6 points for a touchdown, 1 for a PAT. So again, the scoring is the same. It's just maybe the way you get into the end zone is a little bit different, and nothing like we've seen before.
No, actually, and interestingly enough, one change in the scoring thing is you can have a PAT kick, but then you can go for 2, which would get you to like normally, except it's a passing play from the 10-yard line as opposed to being set up from the 2. So from 3. So a little different there, but generally, as you say, pretty similar along the way. All right, I'll give those back to you, and we'll get ready for this opening kickoff here on this opening night of football. I have to say, just a personal comment, I am excited and nervous all at the same time. This is going to be fun. It's also going to be a little weird. All right. So they are set up, and they came out set up in an offensive setup instead of the, I guess they didn't decide to do the kickoff. Otter Valley is going to have the football here. So this is the first play from scrimmage. Otter Valley sitting on the 30, ready to go. They have their quarterback set up in the backfield. It's going to be all passing. This is going to be interesting to call. Quarterback's in the shotgun. 2 off to the right, trips to the left. Just one center underneath him. Quarterback drops down, look towards the middle. Caught in the middle, tapped very quickly. That was number 58, Richard LaFontaine, with about a 5-yard catch on the play.
And again, having only 4 seconds to throw that, you have to develop the play pretty quickly.
And 5 play there. You do have to develop that, so we get a number on that quarterback, Bruce.
I believe it's number 13.
Number 13, that would be Alexander Poley. That makes sense. Alexander Poley, a senior, 5'10". Dropping back, he's got 2 out to the left, 3 trips on the right. They're looking at the 35. This is a 2nd and 5. He drops back. He throws over to the right side. Man gets tacked within a yard. It is going no real gain there on the catch by number 53 on there. That is going to be 3rd and 4 coming up. One gain of 1 yard there. Right now, 2 passes for 6 yards so far for Otter Valley. They're looking at a 3rd and about 5, realistically, with 13:48 on the clock. The clock is ticking away. Remember, it's going to be running time here for these teams. Trips to the left. That means 3 wide receivers to the left, 2 off to the right. Center stays put. Heaved downfield by the quarterback. Incomplete. And that will bring up a 4th down. And we'll see. It's going to be 4th and 4 from the 36. They can punt. So it looks like they may punt it off here. I'd expect them to, certainly. And sure enough, the Tigers are sending out a couple returners. The interesting things, 2 players go out and receive the punt. No one else is out on the field for the Tigers, just 2 people ready to receive it, standing at about the 32. There is a snapper standing at the 36 of the Otter Valley side. Here comes a punt. Would have been an okay punt in a regular game. Bounced out of bounds at about the 33. And the Middlebury Tigers will come out to take over their first time on offense. And Bruce, what do you think so far?
I think it's amazing to see how that first series went. But I'm still not used to the clock running after every play. I mean, it's definitely going to speed the game up and, in my mind anyway, create quite a sense of urgency because you've got to get things going quickly.
As we say, time going by, 12:25 left on the clock here in the first, and time's moving, running time. That's why they start 15. All right, we have a quarterback in the backfield, calls for it, drop back. He looks, actually a little bit short. Gets it to a gain of about 3 there. It was caught by Dalton Rayoun, his first catch of the year. It is going to be a second and about 7. And that pass was thrown by number 13, Ryan Thomas Daniel, playing quarterback. And he drops back. Ryan does. He's looking downfield. He's going to go high up. He's got a potential receiver. Underthrown. Unable to connect there. And Bruce, I do think we're seeing a little bit of just it being a new game out there.
It certainly is, and for both sides. Otter Valley had a first series that wasn't really stellar, and Middlebury looking a little jittery, too, on their first possession as well.
So when they set up, they're all just coming from a place where they're very far. I mean, it's socially distanced out on the field, essentially. They're pretty far away from each other. So they start out in space, just a very different feeling game. He runs back in the shotgun. 2 receivers off to the right, 3 to the left, all in a line. He looks downfield. Receivers jetting down the field right in the middle. And they get brought in. It was caught. Caught downfield by Gabe Cotel. And he went from about the 33 down to the 28. Nice play there. It worked out pretty well.
That was an exceptional catch.
21, 30. My math is a little late. 38-yard pass there. And here's Ryan back in the shotgun. 3 to the left, 2 to the right. We've got crossing in the middle, and he throws to that crossing route. Riding over towards the left side, getting towards the 10. Finally gets tackled down. That was Sam Warren. The catch looked like he gained about 15 yards on that play.
Warren doing a nice job running left there, making a great catch and then getting tapped by the Otter player right near the sideline. So the ball on the 16. 10 minutes and 10 seconds left to play first quarter. Middlebury and Otter Valley scoreless from Doc Collins Field.
And right now the Tigers are looking over to the sideline, getting their signals the way they usually would in their no-huddle offense. It is Ryan Thomas Daniel back in the shotgun. He's looking over to his right side. He's got a few Tigers headed that way. Attempted stretch out there on the right side, but Gabe Cotel was unable to bring it in. However, it's only going to be a 2nd and 10, so the Tigers in pretty good shape right now here on their first possession of the game. And so they call it over.
Brings up a 2nd down.
2nd down and 10 from about the 17-yard line or so. It's not right. Ryan steps over towards the right. He's looking out. Tosses it in the middle there. Very short pass. Maybe about 5 yards. Looks like something that's commonly thrown there. Just out to your running back right in front of you. Just to pick out the equivalent of a short run, really.
Yeah, Otter Valley did a nice job on that play covering everyone, so Middlebury had to go to the short pass.
And it is going to be a 3rd and 6 coming up for Middlebury. Ball out about the 11-yard line. And it's 2 receivers to the left, 3 receivers left, 2 to the right. Ryan drops back, looking downfield, got a man coming across in front of him, and he walks into the end zone untouched. Touchdown for Sam Warren.
Warren with a nice grab running into the end zone on the left side there. 6-0 Tigers, 8:30 left to play in the first quarter.
And we'll see the point after here in this new system. They're going for the kick. There's no one down on the line. It is just the long snapper, the holder, and the kicker. And here comes the snap. Here's the hold, and the kick is good. The kick is good for Brian Whitley. And the Middlebury Tigers are up 7-0 here on 92.1 WVTK.
At BMW, we're on a never-ending journey.
Oh, I didn't make one on the score sheets.
You know what? I did the same thing. I was rushing. I'm like, where's my shit? So
16-yard catch by Sam Warren.
Driver assistance systems with available new features like automatic lane change and intelligent personal assistant.
PAT good for
Whitley.
Yep.
So what was that? How many plays was that drive? 6?
Well, they had incompletes. So,
oh, right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
Experience for the driver. Not every journey has an end. Here's
Yep.
to the next 100 years of innovation. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Learn more at the Automaster BMW. Ahead of the curve. Shop
There's a
online
16-yard pass
and at the
from Danielle
automasterbmw.com. Special lease
Yep.
and finance offers
to
available
Warren.
at Automaster through BMW Financial Services.
This is Tiger Football on 92 WVTK.
And we're back. Otter Valley has one play. The timing of the game is a little different, so Otter Valley came out of the game pretty quickly, but we'll always make sure you never miss what happened. Otter Valley ran one play, and it was a pass from Poley to Aiden Blyer for a 3-yard gain. It is 2nd and 7 from the 32-yard line. And Blyer drops back, looks downfield, not able to bring it in was his big man, Derek Raymond, on that catch.
And just to recap that scoring drive for the Tigers, 7 plays, 3 minutes and 45 seconds off the clock. And again, the touchdown, a 16-yard pass from Daniel to Warren. The kick was good. 7-0 Middlebury, 7:45 left to play first quarter. Middlebury with a 7-0 lead.
Otter Valley's talking it over out there. Remember, the field looks a lot emptier than you're used to. There's 7 players on either side, fewer officials as well. And it is Poley back in the shotgun. 2 receivers to the right, 3 off to the left. Boy drops back, looks downfield, gets it off in time. And it's right at the sticks. Looked like it's going to be a first down. Complete to Luciano Falco, a 9th grader. So there's an example of players maybe getting some time that they wouldn't otherwise.
Maybe the coaches get a chance to take a look at some of these players who otherwise might not get an opportunity to play at this point in their high school career.
That's a good point. Pretty fun, you know. I mean, one of the things we try to do traditionally, especially in games where the Tigers are putting in a lot of people, is try to get as many names called as we can. You know, some parents and everybody else can hear those names. So we'll be able to do that tonight. It is Poley back in the shotgun. 3 to the left, 2 to the right. He drops back. He's got a man crossing right in front of him. Able to make that connection with that man. Right in the middle, it's number 51 coming towards the near side. Gets up towards the sticks. Once you catch it, Bruce, you do surprisingly have a decent little bit of room to run.
Absolutely, and that was a nice play by the quarterback, Poley, for Otter Valley, getting that pass off. He's got a pretty strong arm. He got that off relatively quickly in a nice game for the Otters.
He does, and even though you have 4 seconds as a quarterback, because you don't have to worry about having very many people in front of you, and I think the defensive backs are just trying to stay with the receivers as best they can, there's pretty big windows for these quarterbacks to throw it into. Given that they're throwing so much and they're not used to it, their passing efficiency is actually pretty good.
It almost is as if both teams are playing like a prevent defense.
Yep. Keep it all free. Well, I think they're not, you know, they're figuring out along the way, too. It is going to be 2nd and 2 coming up for Otter Valley from the 49-yard line. It's thrown out to the near flat. The man's tagged with no gain. It was Falco with the catch, but then Sam Warren with the tackle, and there was no gain on that play.
So 3rd and 2 from the 49, 5:40 left to play first quarter, 7-0 Tigers.
And we're out here. All right. And apparently that must be interesting. All right, it is 3rd and 2, from the 48-yard line of the Otter Valley Otters. And they drop back. Looking downfield, and an incomplete pass there for number 3 for Poley. That is going to be 4th and 2, and I would expect to see a punt here, Bruce.
Yeah, you would think so because they're not at great field position. Although one of the things that we've seen, the the quarter is running so fast, you may not get a lot of possessions.
That is true. I mean, it's down now, 4:44 left to go in this first quarter. Middlebury Tigers are leading Otter Valley by a score of 7-0. However, Otter Valley is about to give that ball back over to the Tigers. So far, they have been unsuccessful in putting points on the board. 2 drives, but no points. They are going to go for it here at midfield, and they're going to drop back. Here's Poyer looking downfield, wide open into no space. It is going to be a turnover. And the Middlebury Tigers are going to come out onto the field and look if they can do it again.
And they're going to have pretty good field position, too. They're going to start from their the other side of the 49. So 4 minutes and 5 seconds left to play in the first quarter. 7-0 Middlebury.
And here come the Tigers, ready to take it over. Like we said, it's a fast-moving game. Whereas usually a turnover would not be this quick of a turn. But here we go. Tigers looking over at the sideline. They are ready to go. And there are 3 receivers off to the right, 2 over to the left. And it is Ryan Thomas Daniel in the backfield. He's looking over to his left, throws it right in the middle. And one place, Bruce, they've been very effective in passing is right in the middle. If they can take that shortest route, that seems to be pretty effective for them right now.
And that looks like we're looking at about a 2nd and 4.
2nd and 4 coming up for the Tigers. 3 off to the left, 2 to the right. And it is Ryan dropping back. He's looking out. He's got some space in the middle of the field. Unable to bring it in. Ball gets tipped out of the air. Pass was incomplete. It was knocked down by number 66, Derek Raymond of the Otter Valley Otters. This is going to bring up a 3rd and about 5 for the Middlebury Tigers. Successful in their first drive, scoring a touchdown on the first drive of the season. Now look to get it going again on the second. 2:49 still going on the ticking clock. Tigers looking over at the near side, getting their signals. It is Ryan Thomas Daniel in the backfield. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. He drops back, looks near, and he gets that crossing route again. It's Sam Warren, same way he scored the touchdown earlier, busting down the field. That's going to be a nice game for Warren. Looks like that's going to be probably about a 16-yard gain or so.
Warren with some impressive speed there again, just like on the previous drive, running to the left and picking up some nice yards.
Yeah, I think it's really hard for the defenders. Typically, when you're playing 11-11, when you have that kind of shallow crossing route, there's people in the way. There's linemen in the way. There's people that are going to obstruct the quarterback's view. Right now, when you have that person staying close, they can see it pretty easily. Ryan's dropping back. Look at there you go again. Nice short pass on the near side, but good job by the defender coming up and tagging.
Pass is complete.
Don't have that number on our roster there. But a nice pickup there for the Tigers. That was Cotel on the reception.
And the ball on the 20. 1:40 left to play first quarter. 7-0 Middlebury.
So they gained about 9 on that one. And they are setting up again. Second and about 2 here from the 20. It is Ryan looking downfield, throws it a little high, almost gets brought in first by the receiver, Milo Gordon, and then almost brought in by Otter Valley. I think we're going to see some interceptions tonight, Bruce.
I think so, too, off Gordon's fingers, and the Otter Valley defender just not able to bring that down.
Tough one, but for the Tigers, still 3rd and 1. Now here, of course, is where we'd see something very different. 3rd and 1 typically for the Tigers. You'd line right up, and you'd stuff it right in their mouth. Can't do that right now, so here you are, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Ryan Thomas Daniel trying to get someone open. He had Warren open in his spot. Throws it up high. Nice pick there. I think that was Colin Bradford. Able to bring it in. That was a pretty nice grab there. That was fun.
A one-handed grab.
And I think they picked up about 15 on that one. Nice catch there. Colin Bradford for his first catch of the night. And right now, one has to say, if you could compare year to year, Ryan Thomas Daniel has got one of the higher passing Middlebury games in a long time here for yardage. Austin Robinson's going to say, hey, you're messing with my statistics here.
That was
a
pretty impressive drive. I mean, considering they took the ball over on the 49, the Tigers moving right down the field.
Yeah, it's certainly a fun game. You know, they're moving it around. I have to give these Tigers coaches credit. They're certainly finding ways to get the balls to their players. They're finding them in space. These routes look a lot like things you would see in passing attacks in college and the NFL, right? Wide open, or maybe Burton. Wide open, getting people at short hooks, short slants, just getting them into space and giving them the ball and let them work a little bit. Typically, they manage to get a couple yards before they get tagged, too.
Well, that was a pretty impressive catch.
32.7 on the clock right now here in the first. Tigers are leading 7-0, but looking to threaten right now. 3 to the right, 2 to the left. Sorry, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. There's Ryan Thomas Dana in the backfield looking down. Sam Woods again. No, it wasn't Sam this time. I thought it was a 50. It was 51. Myra Gordon. Yeah, nice touchdown there. 5-yard touchdown. Throw and catch for the Middlebury Tigers. And it sounds like other years, Bruce. Tigers are up 14. Right now, 13. Nothing. See if they could get the point after in here before the end of the quarter. I wonder if they thought about how this works. Yeah, they might get it in. The kicker's out there on the field. I assume that's Whitley. We'll check in a second. There's 5 seconds left on the clock. Here comes the snap. Here comes the hole. Here comes the kick. And at the end of the quarter, it's Tigers 14, Otters 0 on 92.1 WVTK.
Otter Valley 0.
Since 1966,
That was a heck of a catch.
dry cleaning in Middlebury has
Yes, it was.
Time runs out in the first quarter.
an operated business has helped
At
their
the end of one, Middlebury 14, Otter
This is pretty exciting.
It is. It's fun.
I kind of like
now
it.
switch teams.
providing same-day on-site cleaning using state-of-the-art technology and machinery. The team at Desiree Laundry and Dry Cleaning can clean just about
So I think
anything.
that might be Coach Bob Ritter for Middlebury College down below us. Maybe Coach Ritt's going to change up the. Well, they throw it a lot anyway, so it's not
Perfect. Desiree Laundry
not
and
magic
Dry
to them.
Cleaning
But
offers free pickup and delivery in the Middlebury area, including a drop-off location at the Vermont Marketplace in Bristol, and convenient hours. To help their customers impacted by the COVID-19 outbreak, Desiree is offering 24-hour laundromat service 7 days a week.
Second quarter, Otter Valley ball, first and 10
Through Friday.
from their 30.
Desiree Laundry and Dry Cleaning on Exchange Street in Middlebury.
You're listening to MUHS Tiger Football on 92.1 WVTK.
And Otter Valley's out on the field, trailing 14-0, but a new squad. Remember, it is the second quarter, so we'll have some new numbers for you here. Same quarterback. Oh, almost picked off there on the first play of the game. It was Alexander Pauly tried to throw it out there, but it was Gabe Dunn, who got lots of time last year, and this year is the team captain, knocking that ball away. So an incomplete pass to start the second quarter for the Otters. Nice play there by Gabe Dunn. So we'll see some other players here in the second quarter. Again, one of the fun things about the setup is we're going to get to call a lot of people's names. A lot of people at home are going to be able to hear the names of different players, and that's always fun from a broadcaster's perspective. It has grown dark here. In fact, it's almost ominous off to the west how dark it has gotten. It looks like fall football here on the first week of the season. It is Pauly back in the shotgun with 2 to the right, 2 to the left, 1 fullback with him. He throws it over to the left. He's going to be near the first down marker. They're going to give it to him. That pass was complete to number 15, Tucker Babcock.
Being on the stop. It is a first down.
That's going to be a first down for the Otters. First and 10 is going to be set up on the Otter Valley 40. Here's Pauly back in the shotgun. 1 running back, 1 receiver to the left, 3 to the right. Pauly drops back, looks downfield, taking his time. He's going to air it out, see what he gets. Overthrown. Looks like a pass interference flag is going to come in here. We'll see what happens. I also wonder whether it might be taking too long to throw. He did sit back in the pocket here. It'll take us a little while to get used to some of these rules. But one thing you think when you're out bouncing back there, you kind of think of it as being a clean pocket, but a clean pocket doesn't really count today because there's no way to not have a clean pocket. So instead, you've got 4 seconds to throw the football. Even so, they called it was holding against Middlebury, so it's going to be a 10-yard penalty marked off. Otter Valley's going to be looking at a 1st and 10 from midfield against the Otters trailing 14-0 against the Middlebury Tigers. 13 minutes left to go here in the first half. 13 minutes on this running time clock. It is Poley back in the backfield. 2 receivers to the left, 3 off to the right. He drops back, quickly gets to the middle and slant in the middle, and immediately runs into a receiver, but a gain of 9. It was
gain of 9.
Noah Drew on the reception for the Otter Valley Otters. And right now, Otter Valley's picking up chunks here, 10-9 at a time. It is going to be a 2nd and 1, maybe a long one coming up for the Otters here, sitting at the Tiger 41-yard line. Otter Valley so far has had the ball twice and has been unable to score. They punted once, and then they tried to go for it and turned the ball over on downs. This is their 3rd possession. They're facing his 2nd and 1. Some movement, some pre-snap movement here featured by the Otters. 1 running back in the backfield, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Otter Valley takes a timeout, and the play clock will stop moving. But Bruce, right now, Otter Valley, it's not really a physical mismatch, but what do you think they could be doing to maybe be a little more successful right now?
Well, I think they're going to have to get their passing game kind of straightened out. It's been a little bit sloppy so far. There have been short passes, but there's been some ones that have been overthrown. Middlebury, on the other hand, has done a very good job moving up and down the field. They're leading 14-0 with 12:02 left to play in the second quarter. But I think for the Otters, I think they probably need to get something going here because, again, it's running clock.
Yeah, that's it's interesting. It's hard to tell right now whether it's a long game or a short game. It's a little, I think we'll figure it out as we go. One of the things about the passing game, and we talk so much about how in Vermont there isn't a lot of passing. You see some teams that do it. You see some teams that try it, but it's not always that successful. We'll talk about why here in a couple moments, or why I might think it is, as we get ready after we run this down. It is 2nd and a long one from the 41-yard line of the Middlebury Tigers. Otter Valley with the ball. 1 receiver off to the left, 3 to the right, 1 running back in the backfield. Quarterback looks downfield, able to get it loose, and a receiver wide open in the middle of the field. Gets knocked out a little bit, but I think they said that was legal within the area of the rules. So that'd be about a 13-yard pickup there for the Otters.
17.
And that was a nice catch there. I think it was Matthew Cole.
11:35 left to play second quarter. 14-0 Middlebury, but the Otters threatening here with the ball on the 18-yard line. 1st and 10, Otter Valley.
And it is Pulley back in the shotgun. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. 1 receiver back as a fullback. Pulley drops down, looking downfield, going for the corner of the end zone. It's up, and it comes out of their hands. And let's talk about this for a second again. Having watched it out for a while, it seems to me that it is rare that there are high school teams that can effectively throw accurately and catch reliably. I've seen games, I remember a couple of years ago up in Colchester, the quarterback was throwing what they call dimes. He was throwing beautiful passes, and you could see him getting frustrated as receivers would miss it. Or sometimes you have quarterbacks that not a lot of teams have the horses, as they say sometimes, to make all of those connections. You see a team like Burlington, St. J, Middlebury, sometimes they can make those passing connections. But in building that will be a process. Otter Valley looking at a 2nd and 10, throwing it out the near side, getting a gain of about 6 or so. And it was a catch for Noah Drew, his 2nd of the game. He's got 14 yards. And it is going to be a 3rd down and about 6 or so.
Or it's going to be 3rd and 5.
Maybe 3rd and 5. Sounds good. I believe Wayne on that call. And right now time still already ticking away, Bruce. 10 minutes left to go on the second quarter clock. Middlebury Tigers are leading by a score of 14-0. They are also sitting at the 13-yard line. The Otters are trying to go score against the Tigers. And the quarterback throws in the middle. Comes out of the hands. Almost gets picked up by Bodie Rubright. Flag down on the play. We'll see what the call is. Possible pass interference. We'll see here.
The intended receiver threw the flag down.
And we'll see what the call was. Even when there's a conversation about things like this, the clock goes. We had a game maybe in St. Albans last year or the year before where that would have taken off about 7 minutes off the clock, if you remember that game. But so far, in a lot of ways, the game doesn't seem, moving the same way. It's working the same way with downs and stuff like that. I think if the fans at home were here watching this, they would see a football game of a sort transpiring in front of them. 3 off to the left, 1 to the right, 1 running back in the backfield with the quarterback, Alexander Pulley. Pulley calls for it. He takes it. And he's going to throw it to the end zone. He's got a man open. And that is a pass complete for a touchdown to Chance Passmore, a senior co-captain. Flag down at the end of the play. We'll see what the call is, but they are giving him a touchdown. Inadvertent flag, they call it. It was a 7-yard touchdown, Bruce.
So 8:27 left to play in this second quarter. Otter Valley getting on the board, and this was probably their best possession of the game so far.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly started figuring out where to go with that ball. A lot of shorter passes, but we're able to mix in a couple of long ones too. And the kick, it is up, and it is good for Chance Passmore. It's Tigers 14, Otters 7 on 92.1 WVTK.
Family is important.
That name is such a football name.
Passmore, exactly.
Yeah, right?
No, Chance Passmore.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. Doesn't that sound like that sounds like a big, NFL star. That was a nice series of plays they had there. I think we're going to have a pretty good game here. All right.
Or online at SandersonFuneralService.com.
Over 60 years in business. LaBerge equals insurance. LaBerge Insurance Agency's been helping you find the right insurance.
Do you have how many plays were on that drive?
LaBerge Insurance will get it right.
Yeah, maybe.
Supplement insurance.
I don't.
Because I had 6.
Wait, I should know. Yes, 6. I think that's right. That makes sense. 6 since the last touchdown.
Thank you.
Now back to the field for more Tiger football on 92.1 WVTK.
Middlebury Tigers leading 14-6. And it is Bean back in the shotgun, throwing it near to one of his favorite targets, really last year probably his favorite target, Bodie Rubright. And able to pick up a quick 10. Certainly those guys happy to get themselves started. Not exactly the seniors they were probably hoping for, but even so, able to get it started. And they've got 3 off, well, 2 off to the right, 2 to the left, 1 running back in the backfield for Zach Bean. Bean calls for it, steps back, no pressure obviously, so able to throw to a wide open player. And looked like that was Mason Kaufman, able to pick up 8 yards there, returns to the sideline. It's going to be a 2nd and about 2 coming up for the Tigers.
Kaufman wide open there as he ran along the sideline.
And Kaufman and a few other people. Tigers have some speed on this team. You know, it actually was not looking to be a big team compared to some years for the Tigers. This could be a speed team, which for a year like this could work pretty well. Being in the backfield, looking out, he's got a few choices. He heaves it long. He is going, we'll see. There's a call. Yes, there was. Nikolai Lush was out in a pattern and was brought down, really run over. And so it is going to be pass interference.
That was a very well thrown ball too. I don't exactly know they would have been able to catch it, but still he was definitely interfered with there.
Well, and we talk about the lack of experience in terms of guarding against the passing game effectively. And when you're left out on that island, which you're bound to be in this game, without that many defenders, offsetting penalty apparently. So the ball will go back to the original line of scrimmage, and it will be 2nd down and 2. But there's kind of always space. There's always trouble you can get into as a defensive player in ways that you got to maybe get a little desperate, use your hands, just run into somebody. I definitely think we will see more penalties probably early on in these games just because they're getting used to how to play this game. 5:26 left to go in the second quarter. It is Tigers 14, Otters 7. Tigers looking at a 2nd and 2 from the 50. It is Bean looking around. He's got some open choices. And Nikolai able to bring it in at the 33. Gets tagged at about the 28. Nice catch there. About a 22-yard gain. Nice throw there. Luke's for the 22-yard pickup.
27.
Right now, Zach Bean's going to throw it around. He has 3 throws right now for a total of 42 yards. Sorry, 39 yards. And it's Bean in the backfield, 3 to the left, 2 to the right. Bean's looking, oh, he's got a man open towards the end zone. He's going to be able to bring it in. Was not. Went off the hands of Bodie Rubright. And they're going to get a second time. It's pretty fun, you know. Each play has got that kind of, oh, what's going to happen here element to it with the passing game. This is fun to call.
Absolutely. Bean has thrown the ball very well every time he's gone, and it seems like the ones that he's thrown further have looked even better. That was a tight pass.
And I think getting to that point, you know, as they get more and more comfortable with each other, where he's really not thinking about where the receiver is, but really thinking about that where the receiver's going to be. And they're going to be on that same page. It's going to be fun to watch it develop. Bean's in the backfield. He's looking out to his receivers, out in motion. It is Rubright. Going to bring it down about 7-yard gain there for the Middlebury Tigers. Bean going early and often to one of his favorite targets from last season. It is going to be 3rd down at about 3 coming up for the Middlebury Tigers, standing on the, 3rd and 2, standing on the Otter Valley 20. Tigers 3:39 left to go in this first half clock. Bean looks downfield, he's got receivers way out in the front, and it was Rubright catching it. Got a Rob Gronkowski roll there, catching a 5-yard gain. First down going to be for the Tigers.
And the Tigers very efficient on this drive, moving right down the field, really methodically.
Bean right now has thrown 6 passes. He's been complete on 5 of them. Again, 3:15 left to go in the first half. Tigers leading 14-7. And Zach Bean has 1 receiver off to the left, 3 over, trips to the right, 1 running back in the backfield with him. Zach steps back, throws towards the end zone, and Otter Valley Otters saw that coming from a mile away. Chance Passmore able to knock that down. I thought Chance might get an interception there. Ball again, even though it is a pass incomplete, the time keeps ticking. Tigers are going to have to keep that in mind. 2:47 left to go in the second half. And when you're not used to that, Bruce, that might throw you off a little bit.
Certainly could, but keep in mind as well, both teams still with 2 timeouts remaining.
And it is Bean in the backfield, 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Bean's looking for his options. He's going to go to the middle, and he's going to get a man open. Close to the first down. Luke's again. And that was a gain of, what do you say, about 6.
Ball started on the 7.
So it's going to be a 3rd and about 3 coming up here. And it is Bean back in the shotgun, taking the ball, looking at his options. He's got a few. They're all pretty much in the end zone, taking his time, throws it low. Luke is unable to bring it in. It was Nicolai. And it's going to be 4th and 3 for the Tigers. Interesting to see whether they decide to practice some of their kicking game or whether they decide to go for a touchdown. I would say in a typical year, first game, I would typically have said, let's kick this thing just to get that game greased up. This game, I don't know, it's a little different. Maybe you don't worry about that so much.
Well, we're going to have a few minutes to figure that out because Otter Valley has taken a timeout here. 1:41 left to play in the first half. 14-7 Tigers. And Middlebury Union High School Tiger football on WVTK is brought to you in part this season by Sanderson Ducharme Funeral Services on Main Street in Middlebury and Main Street in Castleton. Caring, compassionate professionals serving the community since the early 1900s. Desiree Laundry and Dry Cleaning, a full-service laundromat located at 1232 Exchange Street in Middlebury. They've got a drop-off location at the Vermont Marketplace in Bristol. Monument Farms of Weybridge for local farm fresh milk from their farm to your store. LaBerge Insurance Incorporated for all your insurance needs on Washington Street in Middlebury. Autumn Gold Jewelry featuring the Earth's most beautiful gifts. Autumn Gold Jewelry on Main Street in downtown Middlebury or online at autumngoldjewelry.com.
And so it is the Tigers. Look like they have elected to go for it here. 4th and 3 on the 7, leading 14-7 with 1:40 left to go. Bean's got options in the end zone. He's got an open receiver in there, and he has a touchdown. That is going to be Gabe Dunn. We've had his name touchdowns a few times last year. He gets his first reception and his first touchdown of the year. So a 7-yard catch for touchdown for Gabe, 7-yard touchdown throw for Zach Bean. And as Nikolai Luke, who was a fantastic kicker last year for the Middlebury Tigers, is in to kick. It's down. The kick is up. And I jinxed this,
no good.
that kick for him. The kick is no good. It is 20-7. Tigers over the Otters on 92.1 WVTK.
Do you have jewelry or coin collections just collecting dust? They may be worth money. The price of gold and silver is at an all-time high, and it's a great time to sell. Visit Martin's Coins and Jewelry for a free appraisal and the highest payout in the area. John Martin, owner of Martin's Coins and Jewelry,
Bean to Dunn for 7 yards.
and a lifetime member of the ANA. They
Oops,
buy
no
rare
good.
coins and jewelry. Gold, silver, platinum, diamonds, and watches. Martin's Coins and Jewelry is Vermont's #1 gold and silver buyer on Shelburne Road in South Burlington, right across from Heritage Toyota.
Monument Farms in
They have 5 plays on that drive.
authentic and part of Vermont's heritage. They literally do it all from growing their own corn, raising the cows, feeding and milking
That pass was incomplete.
I think I have 9.
great local products. And
First pass for Otter Valley. Oh, we're not back yet.
their popular dairy store Monday
I'm sorry, I guess I can't read my own writing.
part of Vermont in Weybridge.
You're right. 9 plays, 406.
This is Middlebury Tiger Football on 92.1 WVTK.
And we're back on 92.1 WVTK. Of course, the game is still moving quickly. It is 3rd down here for the Otters. And it is Poe dropping back, looking downfield, heaving it up high, giving a chance for his receiver to get it. Receiver kind of tripped over the turf there, unable to bring it in. It was Chance Passmore. Last 3 have been incomplete for the Otter Valley Otters. One was a knockdown, admittedly, but right now, as successful as Otter Valley have been on their previous drive, not getting anything done here, and that's going to end, I believe, if they let it run out. That's going to end. Nope, they call a timeout. I was wondering whether or not they'd want to run one play or not. Sure enough, Otter Valley has decided they do want to try to run one more play here in this first half.
Well, you put one up in the air, you never know what can happen.
And we'll see here, especially so many people out in space. Now one would expect the Tigers to just drop back in a real prevent here. Keep everything in front of them. All you need to get is one hand on them, right? So it doesn't have to be a full tackle. So that might make it easier to cover a situation like this for them. Right
20-7 Middlebury. 1.2 seconds left in the first half, and Bjorky, a pretty efficient first half of the Tigers.
Oh, they've certainly done great in terms of efficiency. I mean, considering how much they've passed. But, again, it should be fairly efficient. They're getting players out in space. They're getting them the ball. And I think the Tigers' speed, which we would have been talking about no matter the type of football they were playing, I think the Tigers' speed has been evident tonight. And right now they are going to try it. So the Tigers are very, very spread out. 3 people closer to the line of scrimmage, 4 way back in a safety position. Got the quarterback steady back in the shotgun. 1 receiver off to the right, 4 off to the left. Polly's going to drop back, look for the 1 off to the right and give a chance. And I don't think that play was actually allowed. I don't think a backward pass like that was allowed on the pitch, but that's okay. Time runs down in the half. Middlebury Tigers 20, Otter Valley Otters 7. Here on week 1 of 92.1 WVTK football.
Summer is here. Be access what Mother Nature has to offer. Hi, this is Emma, daughter of Eric Carter from the Carter Insurance Agency. Eric, Chad, Sarah, and I would like to remind you that as you are getting out to enjoy our beautiful area, make sure you have the right insurance coverage. Whether you're hiking up Mount Abe, cruising down Route 7 on your motorcycle, sailing across Lake Champlain, relaxing at Campersville, or having a barbecue in your backyard, the Carter Agency is here to help make sure you are safe from unexpected accidents. Let the team at the Carter Agency help you and answer your questions to make sure you have the right coverage for your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, boat, and more. Learn more by visiting the Carter Agency online at carteragencyvt.com. Follow us on Facebook or stop in to see us at 2 South Street in Bristol, Vermont. Or give us a call at 802-453-6054. The Carter Agency, ensuring what you do.
Offering the finest furniture, housewares, home accessories, lighting, and bedding, Woodware is a family-owned business located just south of Middlebury on Route 7. Their family provides friendly, knowledgeable, no-pressure assistance and a laid-back atmosphere with name brands you know for quality. When you call or stop in, you're dealing with one of the owners, so you're in good hands at Woodware. Their top-quality furnishings and other items for your home are backed by a customer is always right guaranteed. Plus, they deliver anywhere in Vermont and provide white-glove delivery service anywhere in the country. Woodware Fine Furniture, Route 7 South in Middlebury.
At All-Star Fuels of Bristol and Heart and Meat Energy of Heinsberg, they serve all of Addison County and beyond. They provide high-quality products to homes and businesses no matter how small or big they are. Whether it's heating oil or propane, you'll get automatic delivery. Now is the time to get a quote on a pre-buy, too. Call the company that delivers what you need. All-Star Fuels in Bristol and Heart and Meat in Heinsberg. Call 453-3101. That's 453-3101.
This is where the Middlebury Tigers play. 92.1 WVTK.
And it's halftime here, week 1 of the regular season. Middlebury Tigers taking on the Otter Valley Otters. Right now the Tigers are up 20-7 on the Otters. Bruce, and let's give the folks at home a recap of how we got this far.
Yeah, it's been a pretty exciting game so far. The Tigers getting on the board first in the first quarter, a 7-play, 3-minute and 45-second drive that culminated in a 16-yard pass from Daniel to Warner. The kick was good, 7-0 Middlebury. And then on their next possession, a 6-play, 4-minute and 41-second drive, a 5-yard pass to Milo Gorman from Daniel, 14-0 Middlebury. And that was the end of the first quarter. And then in quarter number 2, Chase Passmore getting a 7-yard pass from Poley. The kick was good, making it 14-7 Middlebury. And then later in the second quarter, a 9-play, 4-minute and 6-second drive. Gabe Dunn, a 7-yard pass from Zach Bean, making it 20-7 Middlebury, and the kick was not good. And so that's how we got to this point in the game, Middlebury with a 13-point lead after the first half.
And talk about some interesting statistics here. I'm just doing some quick things on the back of my hands here. And Ryan Thomas Daniel probably did not expect that in his first game of his junior year he was going to throw for 138 yards in one quarter. This is not, what a remarkable year. But some fun things happening out there. Certainly the Tigers have been able to move the ball, Otter Valley a little bit, and it's been a game.
One of the things I always find so amazing about high school kids is the way they adapt. I mean, these players on both teams have had to adapt to really a new normal. This is not typically the way the football games go, and the Middlebury quarterbacks in that first half looked amazingly efficient. They threw it well, and the receivers looked good, too. It was a good first half of the Tigers.
Did pretty well. We'll step aside for a moment. We'll be back for more halftime, and we may have a special guest here on 92.1 WVTK. Good luck with that.
Next break will be going into the half.
That's why our entire lineup comes with available cutting-edge features designed to deepen the connection between driver and road.
What's that, Jimmy?
Next break will be going into the half.
Okay. With available new features like automatic lane change and intelligent personal assistant, which enhance the driving experience by providing seamless hands-free options. And that's on top of the outstanding performance you've come to expect from BMW. What this all adds up to is a more intuitive, exhilarating, and rewarding experience for the driver. Not every journey has an end. Here's to the next 100 years of innovation. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Learn more at the Automaster BMW, ahead of the curve, Shelburne Road in Shelburne, Vermont, and at the AutomasterBMW.com. Special lease and finance offers available by the Automaster through BMW Financial Services.
Look under your feet. That's concrete. And whether it's at home, on the farm, or in the workplace, concrete makes up foundations, sidewalks, barnyards. There are lots of uses for concrete in Addison County, but there's only one place to get it. J.P. Carrera & Sons. Their state-of-the-art plant, modern fleet of red, white, and blue trucks, and experienced drivers ensure the quality and efficient delivery of your concrete, crushed gravel, wash sand, and stone. Route 116 Middlebury, 388-6361. J.P. Carrera, the name in concrete.
Hi, this is Mike McGrath from Mike's Auto. Here's just a few things we do. Brakes, shocks, struts, wheel bearings, mufflers, tune-ups, oil changes, head gaskets, front-end alignments. What we don't do is Johnson rods, muffler bearings, or flux capacitors because they don't exist. So if your car skips, whines, wanders, or sputters, give us a call. 388-4138 in Middlebury, or just hit us on the web at mikesautomid.com. If we can't fix it, it ain't broke.
Now back to Tiger football on 92.1 WVTK.
And the Middlebury Tigers leading 20-7 over the Otter Valley Otters here at Doc Collins Field, week 1 of the Tigers regular season. 7-on-7 action for those of you at home. And as we think about first half, I just want to remind people of a few of the spectator procedures going on this year. Certainly, the 92.1 WVTK is going to be a great way to catch all of the Tigers games, home and away. We're still bringing them all to you, whether we're in Pulteney, whether we're in Hartford, whether we're right here at Doc Collins Field. Couple things to know about the spectator procedures. Remember, it's 150 fans, so what the Tigers are doing is giving tickets out for people. 2 spectators per athlete and coach on the roster. The remaining tickets are given to MUHS students, which is pretty exciting. We can't let anyone into the facility who does not have a ticket. You can get in 30 minutes before the posted start time of each game. And, of course, the regular COVID kind of procedures apply that we're using so many places. If you have been around someone with COVID-19, if you've been in close contact in the past 14 days, we ask you not to come to the field. If you travel to a location not eligible for quarantine-free travel, if you feel unwell with any symptoms consistent with COVID-19, or a body temperature of 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. You must wear masks and practice social distancing, all that logical stuff. And people tonight have been doing a great job with that along the way. And a good job enjoying the game. The stands are fairly light, as you would imagine, being a capped at 150 people, but still an active crowd cheering along their Tigers and their Otter Valley Otters. 20-7 so far, and really what's featured is passing attacks that have gotten a little better as the game has gone on. The Tigers actually started out quite strong. Quarterback Ryan Thomas Daniel doing a nice job throwing it around in the first quarter. Actually I had my notes off a tiny bit before, but I redid my math. Ryan had 126 yards in the first quarter and 2 touchdowns. Certainly not a common thing to hear about the Middlebury Tigers. And then Zach Bean with 62 yards and a touchdown in the second quarter. He went 7 for 9. Very efficient work by the Middlebury Tigers. It has been a little less efficient for the Otter Valley Otters. Alexander Poley has had a little more trouble getting on the same page as his receivers. Tendency to overthrow a little bit so far, but I think it's starting to calm down a little bit as they go and as they get a little more active in this game. And certainly for both teams, Bruce, one of the things that's really worked effectively is short throws, being able to throw the ball in the middle of the field within about 10 to 15 yards of the center at the middle of the field. And I wonder over time whether that's going to be a place that, as we see coaches exploit that weakness more and more and more and more, we're going to just see defenses start to adjust to that, start filling in those spaces in the middle of the field. Then you start going towards the sidelines. Then you start going long. The Tigers typically try to set up those long passes with short runs. Be interested to see if they set them up with short passes.
Well, again, as more and more teams adapt to this new normal, we'll see what becomes the normal, whether it's a bunch of those short passes and then you set that up and then have 1 or 2 long ones. But again, the Tigers were very efficient in that first quarter, first half rather, and they did a good job moving the ball down the field. But in the later stages of the first half, Otter Valley did a nice job on their scoring drive that got them into the end zone. They got a lot more. It seemed to be a little bit more smooth, and so it'd be interesting to see if they're able to carry that over into the second half.
Around the league, well, I guess we could say around the various leagues tonight, there's some interesting games on the docket. We'll point out some ones that might mean things to local folks listening today. This weekend, Mount Abraham taking on the Colchester Lakers up near the lake up there in Colchester. Other teams we usually watch and see how they're doing. Rice is playing Essex this week. Burlington, unfortunately without a school building at the moment, playing BFA Fairfax tonight. Who else we have? Burton are taking on the Mill River Minutemen, or did take on this afternoon. Not sure what happened in that game. Fairhaven taking on Mount Anthony. And Rutland is taking on Pulteney. Also Hartford taking on Windsor. And that to me is actually a pretty interesting game. Windsor, although a small school, has been dominant in Division III over the past three years. Winning not every game, but close to it sometimes. A very strong team. So then for them to take on the Hartford Hurricanes, kind of a neat matchup there for this week. So some interesting games on the docket. Hard to know exactly what it means in every case, but certainly interesting games out there to watch. And the Tiger other sports teams are getting going this week as well. I think some games on Tuesday, some games on Wednesday. So it'll be fun to see those kids get out there and really start getting things going.
And for the Tigers, this is their first of 3 games in the next 7 or 8 days. They'll be playing again next Tuesday night against the Fairhaven Slaters here at Doc Collins Field, and then next Friday against Mill River. So really a way for the Tigers to get some fairly decent momentum if they could put this one on the win column.
And a point about that game on Tuesday, Bruce. Looks like we have the game time for that as a 6 o'clock start time. Pre-game starting at 5:30, so a little bit of adjustment for those of you at home who are used to a 6:30 pre-game and a 7 o'clock start time. So just start an hour earlier. Hey, the night starts early.
Yeah, and I will be very curious to see how the players adapt to that, because the later we go into the schedule, there are some games that are during the afternoon. There's a couple of games that are at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The game on the 7th of October against Poultney, that's on the road. That game is at 4 o'clock.
Also, that will be a Wednesday game, so that will be, they won't have had classes that day. That's a remote learning day. We will step aside for a moment. When we come back, we will have kickoff the second half here on 92.1 WVTK.
Mini is a different kind of car for a different kind of drive. For the drive to create a new kind of family car. One with go-kart handling and room for everyone. The all-4 all-wheel drive that takes you everywhere. For the drive to create and innovate. For the drive that's inside you and inside us. That's the drive under the hood of every Mini. Because every Mini is for the drive. Test drive a Mini today at Mini of Burlington, Champlain Drive, Shelburne, and at miniofburlington.com to schedule your test drive.
Hi, this is John Wallace, graduate gemologist and owner of Autumn Gold in Middlebury, Vermont. Stop in and melt someone's heart. Whether you're looking for fine handcrafted jewelry, a rare gemstone, or an awesome diamond, come in and see what we have to offer. Meet our fun staff of very talented designers and goldsmiths. And remember, we do expert in-house repairs, restorations, and appraisals as well. Autumn Gold, the Earth's most beautiful gifts.
Real trust is having a partner you can count on. National Bank of Middlebury has experienced bankers providing advice, guidance, and support you can trust, and a full range of loans, savings, and online products and services. Find out what having the right partner can do for you. Offices in Middlebury, Brandon, Bristol, Hinesburg, and Virgins, or online at mbmvt.com. Bank real. Live real. National Bank of Middlebury.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Equal Opportunity Employer.
This is Tiger Football on Addison County's WVTK. Fort Henry, Bridport, Middlebury, 92.1 WVTK. High school football is on 92.1 WVTK.
Well, you can't beat that for timing. As we adjust to this new year, new way of doing things, we managed to hit the return to halftime, right at return to halftime. That's pretty good. Getting started on the third quarter here, week 1 on 92.1 WVTK. Middlebury Tigers taking on the Otter Valley Otters. Tigers are set up 1st and 10 from the 30. And it is Thomas Daniel back in the shotgun looking downfield. Oh, and one receiver decided not to catch it and left it for the other one. That was a beautiful pass and catch from the 30 over to about the 45, so a nice 25-yard pickup to Cattell. Nice work there. And it is 1st and 10 for the Middlebury Tigers. Gabe Cattell having a pretty good night tonight. 2 catches of at least 35 yards. Thomas Daniel dropping back. He's got receivers to side. Goes to the middle again to a wide open player. And that is going to be a nice gain there. It's actually a little hard to keep up with in some ways. A gain of about 17, we'll call it. I think that's actually a little shy.
Really no Otters around that Middlebury receiver. He had some wide open space there after he caught that ball. He ran about another 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, and that's something certainly that's happening when you can get it in the middle there. And snap goes. 3 receivers look to the left. That's where he's looking. Now he's going down to the middle. Going to be able to stretch out Milo, able to try to bring it in. Milo Gordon unable to there, so it's off his hands. It is going to be a 2nd and 10 coming up here for the Tigers from the 28 or so. Maybe the 27. And Tigers looking over on the near sideline. Getting the call in. 13:27 left to go here in this third quarter, so fairly early on in the quarter. Tigers are leading 20-7. For those listening at home, of course, remember, this is 7-on-7 football. 15-minute running time for each quarter. And rides in the back and looks at an open receiver. Colin Bradford catching it with a nice little wheel route out of the backfield. That's going to be a 5-yard catch for Bradford. Tigers moving along. Going to be 3rd and 5 coming up. Oh, Wayne just gave him 6, so I'll give him 6. 3rd and 4 coming up for the Tigers. Ryan Thomas-Daniel getting the signal over there. And I will say right now, there's some nice hands shown by Colin Bradford. He had a nice kind of tip, and then he caught it earlier in the game. Nice catch there for the running back, Colin Bradford. And up 3rd and about 6. Quarterback's looking down, throws it short. And I think your commissioner were wondering, what about the 4-second call here? They do seem to be holding it for a while. I feel like that has been a little loose in general. That catch was by Cooper LaRoche for the catch, his first of the game. Nice catch there. And it is 1st and 10. It is Ryan Thomas-Daniel looking to the right side. He's got a few wide receivers. He had one open, but will throw it a little far. And then a flag comes in on the play. We'll see what the call is against the Tigers. And right now they're calling offensive pass interference against the Tigers. And they're going to back it up a little bit here. That's going to be a 15-yard penalty of the 15-yard description. So that's going to move the Tigers back. It's going to be a 1st and about 25 coming up here for the Tigers, leading 20-7 over the Otter Valley Otters. 11:22 left to go in this third quarter with running time. Keep in mind the quarterback has to pass within 4 seconds of receiving the snap. There can be no one starting within a close area of the center. The center stays where they are. Everyone else goes out into pass routes. Right now there's 3 receivers on the right, 2 to the left. Ryan Thomas-Daniel looking downfield. He's throwing wide open in the middle again. Is a player number 68. That was Kagan Besser-Jones with his first catch of the game. And nice pass and catch there. And right now, that is the, I think the 11th receiver for the Middlebury Tigers so far in this game. So right now, it's going to be about a 2nd and 8. Coming up for the Tigers. And throw that crossing route again. This time it was Milo and Gordon. They're taking the same route that Sam Warren had taken before. Dropped it, unfortunately. And so it is going to be 3rd and about 8 coming up for the Middlebury Tigers. Sitting on the 12-yard line of the Otters, leading 20-7. 3 receivers over to the left side, 2 receivers to the right side for Ryan Thomas-Daniel. Drop step down, and it's Bradford again making a catch. Colin doing a nice job. That's going to be a 1st down. Looked like they were able to gain about 9 or so on that. 12, well, down the 4, we'll give it about an 8-yard. 8-yard catch right there. Colin Bradford, 2 catches now for 30 yards. And quarterback looking over, he's got that same crossing route, overthrows Milo again. Milo unable to bring it in. And it drops on the ground. 2nd and goal coming up for the Tigers. Time ticking away, though. 9:18 left in the third quarter. These quarters do move pretty quickly. If you glance at the clock, only about 8:06. We're definitely going to have a little faster time than we normally have for a 7 o'clock start. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. It is Ryan flipping it out. And player able to spin in. Not quite. It was complete to Ethan Plouffe. That's the 10th receiver of the night.
Ball is going to be started on the run where it's 3rd and goal.
And they've got about a 3-yard pickup there. Going to be 3rd and goal for the Tigers. Again, very different from what you normally see. Can't even go play action here. You might typically want to look like it hands off to your fullback and then throw it out to a tight end or something. They can't do that here. They're just going to throw it. They go for that same pass. Unfortunately, a little short as they throw it over the left side. Really just a very, very short pass. Plouffe caught it, but for no gain, I believe. And right now there's a timeout on the field. I think the officials are talking it over, what they just saw there. Looked like it was a catch, but a catch for no gain. Inadvertent whistle, but not sure how they could be one really. The play went through. We'll see if they repeat the down or whether they just say that the down went. Looks like they're going to give the Tigers the down back because of the officials' inadvertent whistle. Like I say, everybody's kind of getting used to this system, Bruce. And 3rd and 1 coming up for the Tigers. 8:19 left to go. Middlebury takes a timeout.
Middlebury doing a very efficient job getting the ball down the field. Again, they've been pretty strong in that area tonight.
Yeah, and really, let's give a lot of credit to Ryan Thomas Daniel, able to select good receivers and really put the ball in places where the receivers can catch them. Not making them. There's been a couple that have, moved a little bit, but you'll get that. Pretty effective job by these receivers getting open. Pretty effective job of Ryan Thomas Daniel delivering those balls.
And Middlebury Union High School Tiger football on WVTK is brought to you in part this season by the National Bank of Middlebury, with locations in Middlebury, Bristol, Vergennes, Brandon, and Heinsberg, and online at nbvt.com. Martin's Coins and Jewelry on Shelburne Road in South Burlington, and also online at martinscoins.com. Woodware, offering the finest furniture, housewares, and accessories on Route 7 South in Middlebury. Mike's Auto and Towing for all your car care needs and more. See them online at mikesautomid.com. That's mikesautomid.com.
And here come the Middlebury Tigers out on the field looking at a 3rd and 1 from the 1-yard line. 8:19. No running it in here. They're going to have to throw it. Ryan Thomas Daniel looking for his 3rd passing touchdown of the night. He drops back, flips it into the end zone, overthrows his receiver. This is going to be 4th down coming up for the Middlebury Tigers.
This is a pretty big play here in this game. Otter Valley really needs to stop this because if you go down by 3 scores with a running clock like this, it's going to be tough to get it back. But big play at this point in the game.
4th and 1 coming up for the Tigers from the 1. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Ryan looking down, looking around. And he throws the end zone out of the hands of the receiver. Thank you very much, Sean Farrell, Activities Director, for throwing us a little favor there with some sanitizing wipes. Thank you, Mr. Farrell. And it's the Middlebury Tigers. They're unable to complete that drive. However, this is going to be a pretty tough spot here for the Otters.
Well, in terms of momentum, this could potentially be big for the Otters. They really needed a stop there, and they got one.
They did. And it's a quick transition over to their offense. This is why we did not step aside for a quick break, which we normally would in that kind of situation. And right now, Otter Valley comes out of the field. Otter Valley trailing by 2 scores here. Realistically, plenty of time left in the game. 7:06 left to go in the 3rd quarter, even with running time. But they are backed right up to it. On the 1-yard line are the Valley Otters. Alexander Poley ready to take it. Foley's got a receiver right in front of him, and that kind of flat. Tries to twist back and get some open space. Was unable to. Stopped pretty quickly. Was Aiden Blyer.
So pick up a 4 on that, 2nd and 6.
So he got 4 there. His 3rd catch of the game. And so the Otters looking at a 2nd and 6 coming up from their own 5-yard line. It is Bully back in the shotgun. He's got receivers on his right, receiver on his left, going way downfield. Man open, but again, it's just that precision, Bruce, out of the hands of the receiver. Just a lot of trouble dialing it close enough when they get way down the field.
It seems that 4 seconds that they have to throw it, it almost seems like it's not enough for a lot of times for them to get set up and get the receivers where they want them to be, but it's something that all the teams are going to have to adapt to.
Well, I think, again, that idea of throwing to where that receiver is going to be, that anticipation on both persons' part, is something that takes time. It takes time to develop that, and they haven't totally had time. A lot of them aren't used to this kind of system. So even though you have 4 seconds, realistically the ball could be in the air, and then it could take a few seconds in the air, but they're just not used to that kind of timing. As Pulley goes for it here. There it works well. A short crossing route, and that's going to be a first down for the Otter Valley Otters. And it was a catch by Brady McDonough.
First and 10 with the ball on the 13.
And that was a gain of about 12. And here they go. First and 10 from the 13. Pulley drops back. The receiver's all in front of him. He's going way downfield. Nice snag there. Real nice snag by number 6, Luca Pulley, getting it from Alexander Pulley. So nice catch there. There's the 12 up to about 25 on that game. Maybe even a little more, 26.
And that was a nice pass and a nice catch by Pulley, the receiver. He turned around to grab it and bring it down. First and 10, Otter Valley from the 39.
10 players that catches so far. Pulley drops back, looking over the far sideline for the other Pulley. Dropped out of his hands. It is going to be second down and 10 coming up. Second and 10 coming up for Otter Valley, but right now they're able to get people into space. If they're able to connect on these passes, you can make something happen here.
You certainly can, especially if you've got a long drive. That's one of the things that's typically a staple of the Middlebury teams, those long, deliberate drives. Well, let's see if Otter Valley is able to do that here as well.
Second and 10 coming up, 2 to the left, 2 to the right, 1 in the backfield. Pulley drops back, looking downfield, has a wide open receiver, able to connect, dropped out of his hand. Will they say he had possession? They do say he had possession. It was a gain of almost 20 there. Actually, a little over 22. They make these plays up in chunks, Bruce.
They certainly have been picking up chunks of yardage there. And again, another nice pass.
And right now, Otter Valley moving down the field, but still that time ticking away. 3:41 left to go in the third quarter. Middlebury Tigers are still leading 20-7. But the Otter Valley Otters are trying to make something happen. Pulley has a receiver to his left, 3 to his right, one running back. He throws to that running back. Running back doesn't quite make it to the line of scrimmage, however. So that was a catch for number 54, Isaac Durham-Tigney. That's the 11th receiver of the game for the Otters.
3:10 left to play in the third quarter, 20-7 Middlebury. The Otter Valley Otters moving down the field, the ball on the 40. Second and 10 from the 40. No gain on that last play.
Pulley in the backfield, one running back with him, one receiver to the right, 3 to the left. Pulley calls for it. The receiver goes in motion to his left, putting 4 on the left side. Pulley calls for it, drops back. Tigers are spread out in front of him. Receiver goes over to the right, out of the hands of the receiver, Brady McDonough. And that is going to bring up... That's going to bring up a third down here. Third and 10 coming up from the 40-yard line for the Otter Valley Otters, who are trailing by 13 points here with 2:23 left to go in the third quarter. Pulley has 3 receivers and 1 running back to his left, 1 receiver to his right. Tigers are really spread out in the field in front of him, able to get a short pass out there, a 5-yard gain to Luciano Falco. That's Falco's third catch of the night. Big guy has 12 yards on the evening. Time still ticking around. 1:54 left to go in this third quarter. And right now, it's a long drive, but the drives do take up time on the clock with that running time. And it is 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, 1 running back in the backfield for Alexander Pulley. Pulley drops back, looking downfield. He's got a receiver wide open if he's able to connect, and he is out of the middle of the field. Up about 15, 20, about 23-yard gain on that catch. Aiden Blyer, a senior co-captain, with that catch.
And keep in mind, Bjarke, this drive started on the 1-yard line.
Yep, and there's actually only the second possession of the quarter, if I recall. I think Middlebury started with it, and then they've had it. So these possessions are very, very long. We're realistically going to see a 2-possession quarter. And Otter Valley coming up to the line, trailing 20-7. It is a first and 10 from the Tiger, 13. Alexander Poley back in the shotgun, 1 to the left, 4 to his right. He looks over towards that left. He's got a receiver. The receiver is unable to bring it in. Excellent work there by Sam Warren to disrupt that play to some degree. And right now it's going to be 2nd and 10 coming up. 40 seconds left. Looks like we'll get at least one more play here in before the end of the third quarter. Otters looking over the far side for their signals. The number of pass plays, I'll count it up between the quarters, Bruce, but I've never had a stat sheet like this in my broadcasting career. So many pass attempts. The quarterback, Poley in the backfield, 1 receiver to the left, 3 to the right. Poley drops back. He's looking there all over the field in front of him. Wide open receiver in the end zone. Out of the hands of Brady McDonough. That is the 3rd pass that Brady McDonough has dropped in the last couple minutes of the game. To give him a little bit of credit there, the ball was behind him in a pretty quick pass. But it's 3rd and 10 at the end of the quarter. We'll be back in the 4th quarter at 92-1 WVTK. Figure we should go to an ad between quarters.
Yeah, well, I think you almost have to. I can't believe how fast that quarter went.
It's only 8:17.
JP Carrera and Sons. Their state-of-the-art plant, modern fleet of red, white, and blue trucks, and experienced drivers ensure the quality and efficient delivery of your concrete, crushed gravel, wash sand, and stone. Route 116 Middlebury, 388-6361. JP Carrera, the name in concrete.
Do you have jewelry or coin collections just collecting dust? They may be worth money. The price of gold and silver is at an all-time high, and it's a great time to sell. Visit Martin's Coins and Jewelry for a free appraisal and the highest payout in the area. John Martin, owner of Martin's Coins and Jewelry, is a senior numismatist and a lifetime member of the ANA. They buy rare coins and jewelry. Gold, silver, platinum, diamonds, and watches. Martin's Coins and Jewelry is Vermont's #1 gold and silver buyer on Shelburne Road in South Burlington, right across from Heritage Toyota.
This is Tiger Football on 92.1 WVTK.
Well, to start the 4th quarter here at 92.1 WVTK, it is 3rd and 10 for the Otter Valley Otters and the 12-yard line. And Poley's dropping back, looking towards the end zone. He's got an opportunity there. Player is going to get tackled short of the sticks as about an 8-yard pass to Brady Diaz. His first catch of the night. And it is going to be a 4th and about 2 from the 4-yard line coming up for the Otters. You're talking about important play. This one's important, Bruce. This is a big one for the game. If they don't have this ball, they're not going to get it. Like there aren't a lot of possessions in this game. You need to use it when you can. 3 receivers to the left, 1 running back in the backfield with Poley, 1 receiver to the right. Poley checks to the running back, but then throws it over to the right. A wide open receiver who just drops it. There could not have been any more open, and they're going to regret that one for sure. Middlebury takes over on downs.
Middlebury's ball, 1st and 10 from the 4.
So that drive, starting at the 1, they went all the way up the field. So what is that, a 95-yard drive, and to come away empty, that's something that'll drive a coach nuts.
Yeah, and, realistically, you just only get so many possessions, it appears. We're going to have to kind of get used to this game and the flow, but it seems like you don't get a lot of possessions. Coming away with nothing is a pretty big one. Tigers, however, in a similar situation the Otters were a few minutes ago. It is 1st and 10 from their own 4. The only difference is Tigers are ahead by 13 points, which makes the desperation a little different. Three wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left for Zach Bean, looking downfield, throwing it to a wide open receiver. Well, not wide open. It was actually a nice throw into a window there. That pass was to Matt Kiernan, and that was a nice pickup there. They went from the 4 to about the 27.
So 23 yards.
23 yards. 23-yard gain there. And here comes the snap to Bean. 3 receivers on his right. That's where he's looking. Comes back to his left. Ball out of the hands of the receiver. No catch there. Tigers will be looking at 2nd down here coming up.
2nd and 10 from the 27.
And looking at a 2nd 10 from the 27-yard line. 12:36 left to go in this game. Tigers have 3 receivers to the right. 2 to the left of Zach Bean. Bean calls for it, looking downfield. A bunch of people crossing in front of him. Able to get one of those crossers, which was number 18, Colby Hammond, his first catch on the night. Not a long gain there for the Tigers, a gain of about 4 or so. It's going to be 2nd and 6 coming up for the Tigers. Or sorry, 3rd and 5 coming up for the Tigers. And being called out for it, he's got 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, lots of crossing routes in front of him. Able to get pretty much the same play, it looked like. Crossing player in front of him, it was Colby Hammond with his second catch, about 4 yards. And the Tigers, with a 4th and 2, have a decision to make. 4th and Wayne said 4th and 1. I think that's about right. Maybe a long one. They've just taken a time out of the field to talk this over.
Yeah, and Middlebury Union High School Tiger football on 92.1 WBTK is brought to you in part by the Automaster BMW and Mini of Burlington on Shelburne Road and Champlain Drive in Shelburne. The Automaster BMW and Mini of Burlington ahead of the curve. Carter Insurance of Bristol on South Street in Bristol, the Carter Insurance Agency, insuring what you do. And All-Star Fuels and Heart and Meat of Bristol and Heinsberg on Elm Street in Bristol and Route 116 in Heinsberg.
It's interesting right now, the Tigers are talking it over here, as are Otter Valley off on the sideline. But right now it's interesting. The coaches, they're learning on the fly. And right now, Jed Malcolm and John Newseeder are talking to one of the officials and getting some clarification clearly on how some things work out there. And it's nice to see them talking it out. They're working it out in humane ways, clearly. And I think it's true for all of us. They're just having to figure out, okay, what's this thing look like? All right, this looks like a 4th and 1 coming up for the Tigers. Bean has the ball, and he has a first down quickly up to Jack Rizzo. And that's about a 3-yarder or so. That's a first down. And Bruce, just kind of an interesting fact here. So 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. 15 Tigers have caught the football tonight. It is a 1st and 10 from the Tigers from their 43. Zach B dropping back, going way long. Is they going to be able to stretch it out? Not quite. A little out of the hands, a little far for Jack Rizzo going down the left side of the field. It's going to be a 2nd down. But Bruce, to me, that's the kind of play that can really connect here. Because yes, you only have 4 seconds, but you have 4 seconds and then you're able to heave the ball. So realistically, if you could have a receiver that feels comfortable getting underneath that, if you're able to time that up, and again, it's the timing that takes time. It's knowing where each other's going to be in a comfortable sort of way. It is going to be a 2nd and 10 coming up. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. B drops back, throws it short, but the player able to spring forward and gave him about 5 yards. Looked like it was Penn Riney on the catch.
This is the first time we've seen any of the Tigers so far this year. And one of the things that I've been very impressed with, both quarterbacks tonight have played very well for Middlebury.
Yeah, they really have. It's been a very, very efficient game for both of them, for sure. And it is Bean with 3 to his left and 2 to his right. And he goes to his left, unable to get anyone on that short pass. It was attempt to Jack Rizzo. And they are going to be looking at a 4th down here at the 50-yard line for the Tigers. 4th and 4. And so we'll see what we get here. Looks like the Tigers are prepared to punt it away, leading 20-7. And Bruce, only 9 minutes left to go on the clock. Otter Valley could eat that much time up fairly easily the way this game is going. And here comes the punt being delivered from the 42. It will be downed at the 13. And here comes the Otter Valley Otters coming out to try to do something here. 20-7, certainly. They have great chances. But with how long drives seem to take and how quickly the clock moves, Otter Valley's going to have to be pretty efficient on this drive. They had some big strike plays before. They just weren't able to cash it in on their last few drives.
Well, they're going to have to score quickly on this, and then assuming Middlebury gets the ball back, they're going to have to stop them relatively quickly. They do have all 3 of their timeouts left, but again, with the running clock, we're down to 8:45 in the 4th quarter, 20-7 Tigers, so they need at least 2 scores.
And I am checking my rules, and I'm not finding anything about onside kicks here, were they to get to that point. I think we might just discover that on the fly. And Otter Valley with their first play here. Pass was incomplete. They're going to be looking at a 2nd and 10 from their own 13.
Going to bring up a 2nd and 3 with the ball on the 20.
Sorry, 2nd and 3. I missed that was the first one that happened. We were talking about it. All right, here comes the snap. 3 receivers off to the right, 1 to the left. 1 person a wheel route, and the catch is made. It's going to be a 1st and 10 coming up for Otter Valley. And it was a catch there for Tucker Babcock.
The ball now on the 29.
Andrews Pulley dropping back, looking around. He's got a receiver open down low. And nice! No, unable to bring it in. Looked like it was a nice catch on the far sideline. Unable to bring it in was Diaz. And it is going to be a 2nd and 10 coming up for the for the Otters. And it is 7:33 left to go in this 4th quarter. Otters are trailing 20-7. And we talked about how quickly this clock moves. It hasn't taken long for 2 minutes to burn off the clock. Pulley in the backfield, 3 receivers off to his left, including the running back, 2 to his right. And he's going way downfield, taking a chance to no one on that play. And right now, the passing game isn't getting stronger right now for the Otters. It's actually, they seem to be guessing now. They seem to be kind of hoping that things are going to work out.
Well, that last pass, there was probably 7 to 10 yards overthrown. You're down to 6:55 in the 4th quarter. It's 3rd and 10. You really need to get something, and it needs to happen now.
And right now for the Otters, 3 receivers off to the right, 2 to the left for Alexander Pulley. Tigers are spread out, 4 near the line, 3 back in the secondary. And right there, just not really connection, just gets thrown about 3 yards in front, dropped by the receiver. And it's 4th and 10 coming up for Otter Valley. They need to go for this.
They need to go for this, and I'm actually a little surprised they're not taking a timeout here.
They're really just, at this point, giving the ball over to the Tigers with how much time eats off. Really, Otter Valley didn't move the ball far. They only got 1 first down. They still ate 3 minutes. A third of the available time came off the clock. Right now, they're going to go for a punt, which means the Tigers who are out there are going to come off the field. This is going to be tough for Otter Valley here. When the Tigers get it back, they're going to try to eat up as much time as they possibly can. Pretty nice-looking punt there out of the Otter Valley punter, at least in terms of its rotation. Tigers are going to have it at the 35. 5:46 left to go in this 4th quarter. And decision there on Otter Valley's part. Maybe they weren't going to pick up that 4th and 10, and maybe they're not necessarily worried about the final score totally, but put themselves a little bit of a tough spot here with 5:30 remaining.
Yeah, I'm just not really sure why you wouldn't have taken a timeout and gone for it, because essentially Middlebury has no incentive to hurry up now at all.
Right, and they could work everything down. They've got a play clock. They're going to work everything down as long as they possibly can. For sure, heck, they could run it down to 5 minutes right now. We have a different quarterback in the backfield for the Tigers. We'll get that number. And is looking for it, not sure where to go with it. That was longer than 4 seconds. I hear Coach follow that. I think that seemed to take a little while. But Finn Whitlock, a sophomore playing for the Tigers. It is interesting. I'm going to pay attention a little bit to the timing of how long the quarterback is allowed to hold it, because I do hear a coach from opposing team talking about it, and it may be true. We'll watch a little bit and see here. But right now, 2nd and 10 coming up for the Tigers. 4:39 on the clock. Tigers leading 20-7. 5 Otters up near the line, 2 back in defense and they count it down. It's a short pass across the middle. Was able to get caught after about an 8-yard gain. No, the official says it is incomplete.
Not the receiver, but it was called incomplete.
My Tiger fans are not pleased with that call, but it's going to be 3rd and 10 coming up for the Tigers. And right now, the sophomore Finn Whitlock getting some experience here with the varsity team. You got to kind of like that. However, it is going to be 3rd and 10, so you're going to get experience in having a 3rd and 10 on the varsity level here. 3 off to the right, 2 to the left for Finn Whitlock. 5 Otters up towards the line, 2 back in the secondary. Whitlock drops back, a lot of receivers over to the right. He's going to throw it long. He has a potential receiver there. unable to bring it in. It kind of was a jump ball, and Gabe Dunn was unable to bring it in. It's going to be 4th down here for the Tigers. Now, here's the remarkable thing, Bruce. 3 pass incompletes. Time still came off the clock. So typically in a normal football game, that would have taken, maybe
several minutes.
It would take several, but on the clock itself, it would have only been a very short time because the clock would have stopped. Instead, the clock keeps running on incomplete passes, so time keeps going. It is a punt away from the Tigers to the Otters. They're going to take it over at the 31. 3 minutes left to go. They need to get out of this field. They need to get going. They need to get hopping. If there's ever a time to feel urgency for the Otter Valley Otters, it is it. 3 minutes left to go. And right now, for me, Bruce, that's one of the biggest adjustments I see is that the coaches are just going to have to get used to the fact that the game flow is very different and time flies by. 2:43 left to go in the game. Otter Valley, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. The quarterback's dropping back. He's going to look way downfield, and he does. And there's a chance, and he got it. Out at the 45, gets brought down at about the 23. What a throw. About 45 yards on that throw. That was to Passmore.
And a heck of a catch there by Passmore. Well-thrown ball by Poley.
22. And right now, throwing it out there. And Passmore able to bring it in again. And they're moving there, the Otters. Pick up about 12 there. And the ball is spotted. Okay. And they are able to throw it in. They move so fast, Bruce. I looked down for my numbers, and they threw it in. 12-yard pass in for a touchdown. The catch by Dylan Passmore with the reception. It was Dylan Gaborio for the reception, number 25.
See, the one thing about this that I don't like Otter Valley is almost being penalized here. They've scored. The clock is still running.
Yep.
And they could literally run out of time after scoring.
Yep. So they're gonna have to move it pretty quickly here because it's 1:08 on the clock, and it is 20-13. Otters, I think we're going to keep it here just because we don't know the timing of how things are going to go. So we will stay here for the last couple drives of this game, potentially. We'll see what happens. So it's 20-13, 1 touchdown game right now.
Well, 1 touchdown or 1 interception. You never know what can happen because interceptions are still good. And I will be curious to see if they change things as the season goes on. I don't know that. Maybe I should know that if they can alter the rules as the season goes on.
I imagine there's some room for it. I mean, I'll talk to Sean Farrell this week. He's actually very important in the Vermont, the VIFL, and he's somebody, he actually manages a lot of that, and so he'll be somebody I talk to this week and ask, are there adjustments to be made? Because right now, if something for a timeout, time could be ticking. So there's only 1:07 left on the clock. Tigers looking at a 1st and 10. And it's Bede dropping back from his own 30, throw it along, get it up there. Almost brought in by Nikolai Lushkin, then almost intercepted. A timeout called by the Otter Valley Otters. One thing that's interesting, Bruce, we haven't actually seen any interceptions tonight, and that surprises me. I figured we would.
Well, again, you're 1 special teams play away from this potentially being tied. But I think it's been a very entertaining game so far. I didn't know really what to expect. It's been pretty fun to call this game.
Well, we're going to run into interesting. So right now, for the Tigers, they are looking at a second. They're yelling at each other here. They're not going to have much time, right? There's 59 seconds left on the clock. So if they complete this pass, then they would have to take another play. But they could realistically I guess it would take 3 plays. Well, 2 plays potentially. And then this game could be over with a minute left to go. 2 off to the right, 3 to the left for Bean. He really just needs to make a connection right now. Is able to do that, a gain of about 9 to Bodie Rubright. His most reliable target from a year ago. Timeout taken by Otter Valley. That's going to be their 3rd timeout. They're going to have 1 left. So right now it's going to be 3rd and 1. Big opportunity there potentially for the Otter Valley Otters. If they could make a stop here, might be at some level of business.
And for the Tigers, if they convert this, they're in the driver's seat.
Yes, absolutely. Able to just run out the clock basically at that point. I'm sorry, I think I said it was Bean earlier in at quarterback. I think, no, they did put Zach back in. Game was a little close. They could go back to your starting quarterback. Makes sense. Right now, 51 seconds left on the clock here in this game. Tigers leading 20-14. A close game, but it's really the time that's going to matter here. 2 off to the right, 3 to the left. It's snap to Bean. Just needs a reception. And got it. Huge call there in terms of deciding that was a catch. It was low, but Dunn was able to bring it in. And right now, Tigers are certainly in the driver's seat. 34 seconds left to go. There is a timeout that Otter Valley has. Interestingly, the play clock did not start, but the clock on the board had started. So that's going to be interesting when people talk about it afterwards. 3 to the right, 2 to the left. 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Looking to just kind of time this thing out. They are going to have to snap it one more time. See if Zach actually could take a delay of game. Could call a timeout too. Nope, they just snap it. Zach's looking to his middle. Is able to get it to receiver in the middle and get about 6 yards or so to Jordan Martin. And that's going to be it for the game. Middlebury Tigers win 20-14 over Otter Valley. Middlebury 1-0 to start the year in 2020. We'll be back with our post-game analysis and our JP Carrera player of the game.
So who caught that touchdown for Otter Valley? The second one in the 4th quarter. Was that Passmore? Chase Passmore or his brother?
If your car skips, runs, wanders, or sputters, give us a call. 388-4138 in Middlebury, or just hit us on the web at Mike'sAutoMid.com. If we can't fix it, it ain't broke.
Family is important. Who is a loved one? Family becomes more important than ever. Sanderson Ducharme has been there for our friends and neighbors with compassionate service during difficult times for generations. It's about the people in your life who you hold in your heart when you're hurt here. This message from the Sanderson Ducharme family to yours on Main Street in Middlebury, Castleton, or online at SandersonFuneralService.com.
Since 1966, Desiree Laundry and Dry Cleaning in Middlebury has been serving the needs of Addison County. Their family-owned and operated business has helped their customers look their best in good